Yeah. Good evening.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, of course I can.
Okay. So once again, birthday, and we had wonderful party there. So
Me
this,
and
the theme we are doing is don't bet against India, and you are the biggest.
well, I have no other place to invest. I have a lot of foreign friends. So they all talk about investing in Romanian real estate and Dubai condominiums and New York commodities. But I have only one wife and one investment ticket, that is India. So all my wealth is in India. A lot of people ask me that why don't you invest abroad? So I think said when the food at home is so tasty and good, why go out to eat here? But the growth is permanent. And also when we have set up these systems to investment in equity, and there are huge financial savings. So a lot of money is still waiting to come into equity. I mean, household wealth consisting of equity in India is 32%. In America, it's 32%. So you have an area where the economy is growing constantly, and there are absolute governance is there, systems are there for the money to come, and there's huge pool of money waiting to. So EPS will grow if the economy grows, and the P will grow if new money comes in the markets. So I think that's why I think India is. और फिर हमने एक बीवी मिल गई है इतनी अच्छी है तो इधर उधर क्यों ढूंढो?
लेकिन अभी राकेश 35 साल हो गए तेरे को. You have spent 35 years in the stock market. Am I correct? About 35 years, है ना? So and when we started that time, I think even 100 crore market cap of the largest companies were a big thing. I think even Reliance, Telco, Tiscos, they were in that 100 200 kind of ballpark.
Right.
So and from there now the same 100, if you are not a lakh crore, I mean. That's the kind of scale change for the companies we are successful in last 35 years. But could you, I mean, like everybody aspires to be successful equity investors. So 35 years back, when you look back, could you see the spectacle which opened up, I mean, in front of us in the next 35 years? What are your kind of apprehensions at that point of time, excitement? You were that time also very bullish, but still the challenges.
I came to market with one idea that I read when I was about 17, 18 years old, that why capitalism will succeed. And I was a bureaucrat's son and I knew what this bureaucracy was doing to the country. And I felt that capitalism will prevail. And the true temples of capitalism are the stock markets. So I knew that capitalism will, the capitalist policies in India will shift, and then the stock market will develop. I mean, I knew the direction. I will be lying if I knew, if I could predict that this was the kind of increase in volume or increase in market cap that I thought. At that stage, I must tell you very frankly, I never knew about compounding, right? This after all a compounding effect.
Yeah.
So I must admit that I knew the direction, but I never knew the depth.
Mm-hmm.
And as it is, I have learned a lot of in my life by doing, observing, and following. So it's not that I know anything today also or everything. As events fold out, I think about them, I reminisce on them, I talk to people, and then I form an opinion.
Mm.
So my opinion was always upward. I thought the direction is upward.
Mm-hmm.
And the index is going to be 40,000. It's like saying, I know I got come home late after having a lot of drinks. I know Rekha is going to fire me. I know that I'm going to get the firing, but I don't know how much. I know the direction. So, I feel, I mean, I couldn't comprehend this kind of a change, but surely I knew the change was upward.
But now having seen because there is no way to figure out even the next 25, 30 years, isn't it? Again, we know the direction, but we don't know the quantum.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so if you look back, I mean, the best way to see the future is from the prism of the past. I mean, some kind of what we have gone through. So don't you think that today the indices or matrices of India, a lot of things which are required for a country of this size to propel forward is far better today than what it was in 85.
Absolutely, absolutely. See, Ramdev, that is the essence of democracy. When I say that democracy is very important, people laugh at me. But it's only in a democratic society where change takes place very slowly. It takes place firmly. But I feel ultimately all democratic societies decide what is in favor of that. So I'm confident that as an India, see, first of all, we have a culture of mildness. We are basically driven by an Hindu culture, which is because we're 85% Hindu. I'm not talking about any religion or any religious term. This culture drives us with a very mild. We are not extremes, right? And in a democratic society, whatever is, जिस जो चीज का समय आ गया है वो हो जाओ. कैसे होता है, क्यों होता है? I mean, could you have thought 4 years, 3 years ago that the rate of tax on companies would be 25? When we came on the market, when I first earned wealth, I told my dad, I paid the income tax, but who's going to pay 5% wealth tax? Means I have to sell my portfolio 10% every year, pay 50% tax, and then pay 5% wealth tax. So my father told me, if you are so worried, give me the wealth, give me the shares and the income, I'll pay the tax. But we lived in a world where there's no wealth tax. No, could anyone imagine that took place in 92? So I'm very optimistic, although I'm not very happy at the pace. But ultimately, we as a society will do what is necessary for the growth and prosperity. Right?
Yeah.
And it is happening slowly. But I think जैसे हिंदी में बोलते हैं ना, पंडित जी बोलते हैं कि शादी का मुहूर्त का समय आ गया है, लड़की को बुलाओ. तो मेरे लगता है अभी भी रिफॉर्म का समय आ गया है. Government has no alternative but to reform. And I think some of the reforms they have done in the agricultural sector are pathbreaking. And I think the kind of public disinvestment which is going to take place of the public sector, in my opinion, is going to surprise people. Also, we have changed the land and water. So I think the reforms will come surely. And imagine there was a law in India that if there is aloo, there's a bumper production of aloo in West Bengal, and aloo is selling at 1 rupee a kilo, you can't store potato. Because of the Essential Commodities Act. At least you have been allowed to store that potato.
Yeah.
What is going to happen, Ramdev? That the farmer was getting 6 rupees for potato and I was paying 40 rupees. Now we will get 30 and the farmer will get 40. I think that is the kind of change that is going to take place.
Yeah.
So I think I'm very hopeful. And I don't know one thing, sir. The lady who everybody calls me the big bull. Boss, bulls are called bulls because they are big. What is the meaning? Because he is big. They call him a big bull, it makes no difference.
Yeah. One of the things is that particularly poor country cannot manufacture foreign exchange. I mean, one of the most critical component to live in this world, in the globalized world, is to have adequate foreign exchange. In 92, we suffered humility of sending physical gold to London for getting some credit line. Yeah. And our import coverage was less than a week. I think our exchange reserve fell below $1 billion. Today, we have crossed $500 billion. Right. It has taken almost 30 years. But India, in its own way, has sorted out a whole lot of problems, like this forex problem, cement problem, food problem, milk problem. There are problems with every problems have been overcome. And we have come on top of it. This forex problem is a very intricate problem. And yet, today we have 500 billion and maybe counting 20, 30, 40 billions in next 1 week or 10 days and kind of thing. I mean, so maybe the journey from $500 billion to $1 trillion will be amongst the fastest. So how does things, I mean, my sense is we have the pre-COVID growth rate also very low. So that also is another source of pessimism. And of course, COVID has happened. So that has also disillusioned a lot of people. But ingredients in place for the country. I mean, I really feel that the story is just about to start. I mean, what we have seen in the trailer in the last 35 years. But do you feel that kind of possibility happening?
See, Ramdev, what we need to do is a ease of capital and rule of law. right? Once we have that, see, there is so much capital in the world today.
Yeah.
There's a pension fund in Canada or America or Europe. The interest rates are and see, fortunately, India is an open country. And India is a very defensive democracy, but whom anything and everything can be known.
Mhm.
I think the only thing we got to do is we got to facilitate investment by ease of doing. Modi ji had still because he's one of the prime ministers who has seen poverty. He wants to help the poor, which I do appreciate. But he knows that to help the poor, he has to facilitate investment. So I personally think the ease of doing business. See, in India, it's not easy to change anything. This twist with socialism in India has created such vested interests, right? I mean, the kind of reform the central government is trying in the power sector. The state governments want to give power without having to pay for it. They want to give the farmer free power and they don't want to pay for it. They want the other consumers to pay or the discoms to go bankrupt. I mean, in Punjab, if you're a farmer, you're given free power. And if you use less power, there are vested interests. Those interests have to be overruled. And they will return. And I think BJP has got the political supremacy to be able to do it. And I think the Prime Minister also thinks as a businessman. Look at the way he changed things in Gujarat. One of the few, solvent electricity ports in India is the Gujarat state. There is no power cut in Gujarat. So I think the time for the reform has come. In the democratic conditions, it will take time. But I think we are there. मैं बोला ना बस अब शादी का अरे और बहू को लाना ही पड़ेगा समय हो गया है मुहूर्त आ गया है
राकेश 20 साल पहले China emerged. I mean, before 2000, nobody knew where China is.
Right.
And in 20 years, it is all over China.
Right.
I mean, would you bet on for next 20 years? Would you bet on China or India for the growth and prosperity?
It is China or India. Why it is for all? It is both. I think we complement each other's growth. Why do you feel that we can? If China doesn't grow, China only we don't grow. I think we can help each other grow.
Yeah.
And actually, if see the Chinese are according to me suspicious and very aggressive people. I don't trust them at all. But sit at a table. Can we afford both nations to not cooperate in economic matters for some 50 kilometers of land? What difference is that land going to make to India? Not that I'm saying we are going to defend that land with all our might. And I compliment the manner in which we have just put the China on the defensive. Right? We have managed to do what America did not manage to do. But so therefore I don't say it's different, but I think both of us can. But I personally feel whatever change takes place will be more permanent than China. And there are two very dangers in China which I feel. One is the debt levels are 330% of Indian debt levels are 125, 130%. Any society that reach those levels of debt has always had problems. Second thing is, at some point, wherever there has been there has been prosperity, and there has not been social freedom. Societies do erupt. So I don't know when they will erupt, but I think unless China liberalizes its own economy, liberalizes its own social system, lets dissent take place, I think there will be trouble in China sooner or later. So it's not as as easy in China as people would like me to believe.
But yeah, last 5 years have been very challenging in terms of economic growth. I mean, we are all getting used to 6, 7, 8% growth. And if you see the last 5 years, whether it is economic growth, whether it is corporate profit growth, and whether it is the stock market performance, while you have done exceedingly well even in the last 5-year period, but the overall economy, the belt which drives the stock market, or the corporate profits, and hence the stock markets themselves, have all really done very badly. When you reflect back at these 5 years, we were all equally optimistic 5 years back. What really went wrong? And do you see some of those changing going forward?
I think there were a combination of factors. First, I think there was a complete cleansing of the Indian corporate sector, which put the businessmen on the defensive. Right. Second thing, certain wrongs were being corrected, but they were, like, suppose the incorrect allocation of the coal mines. Now that was wrong, but that was, the Supreme Court undid it in such a way that it affected business. Then we had an over-investment cycle. That cycle had to be corrected. Along with that, we had the new. So I think it was a combination of factors, and the biggest combination to me was the paralysis in the banking system because of the undoing of the extensive investment cycle between 2009 and 2012. Second thing I think was, the cleansing of the corporate sector, which inhibited it. Then were the reforms. Basically there was change, and that change basically stopped us to some level. I also think, especially at the state level, there was excessive spending on welfare without the states having the resources, which has affected the capital investment in our society. But I see all that overturning now, right? You're going to have a far more efficient corporate India. I think what people are not understanding is in the market, and that 2008 and 9, we had a scene where the corporate sector had just come off from a major investment. After 2012, there is corporate investments in India. Second, people had lost a lot of money in 2008-9 because there was mass retail participation in the stock market between 2005 and 2008. In the last 3-4 years, there has been no participation in the stock market in India. Also, I think there is a realization with the government, especially the Prime Minister, that, and I have no information, that reform is needed, right? And the kind of change that had come in agricultural reform, you cannot believe we have yields lower than Bangladesh and Pakistan. Yes, our yields are lower than Bangladesh and Pakistan, right? Our pesticide and chemical use in farms is 0.5% per acre, or 75% of what is in Pakistan. So the change in the agricultural sector, what is going to lead is what is get by the cleansing. We're going to have more efficient use of capital. People, formerly only companies went bankrupt, now promoters also go bankrupt. Process has extracted a price, but what it is going to do in the future, it's going to use for higher yield of capital, right? If we are able, if the government is able to push through the reforms which the Ministry of Power has suggested, I think it will be the kind of change that will take place in India is unbelievable. And I feel there is a new with the government that we have to promote this, especially after the conflict with China. So I see major reforms, and see if anything in this country, right, the change, once it is done, the kind of acceptance and the kind of follow through. So I'm hopeful. I have been hopeful, and I remain hopeful.
So a lot of the problem.
See, when you talk about the stock market, don't compare India with America. America has the highest level of profits to GDP. India has the lowest level today. They have 32% of household wealth as equity. We have only 4 to 5. So both on the EPS side, India is the vertically opposite side of America.
So actually 2 questions. First is, all the problems that you cited 5 years ago, a big investment cycle that has corrected, corporate balance sheet leverage that is corrected, right? The banking sector NPL issue, a lot of them are recognized and now provided for. The corporate banks are now in a much better shape. A lot of these problems are now behind us. as you stand today, yeah, do you see any more problems? I mean, there are a lot of good things. I mean, one market, GST, Aadhaar, the benefits will really be seen when we are growing at 7-8%. The agri reforms you spoke about, the possibility of divestment now that there is a large fiscal deficit. There are a lot of things to look forward to, but are there any more problems that you see today?
I think the biggest problem is that government not act. I mean, it's also disinvestment of the public sector or electricity reforms. See, a lot of things has to be done by government, right? And one thing which you missed, which is very important, is that the cleansing of the sector is going to lead to more efficient use of capital.
Yes.
And this far more efficient use of capital to really promote our country. So I don't see. I personally feel the government has now understood the urgency and the kind of government, the kind of capital it has. Only one person has to understand the urgency. Not many are needed. And I think that a sense of urgency has been achieved. So I am quite hopeful. What India needs 100% is a reform. Right? If businessmen are smart, they will adjust. They have understood कि हो जाएगा, कर लेंगे, ले लेंगे, दे देंगे, पटा लेंगे, बुलवा देंगे. All that is not possible.
Yeah.
Right? That attitude will change with time. And government has acted in mining, they have done something, in agriculture, they have done something. Public sector disinvestment, they're talking in a big way. A lot of states have changed the land law. Right? So I'm hopeful. Government has realized how Andhra Pradesh did not want to honor the agreements for the power plants. How forceful the government said no, any contract has to be, honored. And government has realized that there are too many laws which have to be followed. So I'm hopeful change. And see, the market is also silently recognizing that.
Yeah. Rakesh, one of the thing is that most of the businessmen in last 3-4 years, I used to interact. I mean, we keep talking to the channel and other things. They're saying कि सब business तो है, लेकिन पैसा वापस नहीं आता है. So liquidity was a big problem for last. I mean, the monetary policies were not supporting what the fiscal policies were. I mean, जो आपने इतने बड़े reforms किए, whether it is demonetization, whether it is IBC, whether it is RERA, whether it is GST. So, we killed the inflation. We didn't bring down the inflation, we killed the inflation. And the process of killing the inflation was you drain the liquidity out of the system. Because in demonetization, all the cash went out and the check, there should be more than adequate check money available, which I think was in short supply till about 1 year, 1.5 years back, when the liquidity was always, in absolute scarcity. And too much of focus was there in reducing the interest rate artificially, rather than providing enough liquidity.
Now the interest rate has been reduced.
Yes.
Companies are getting CPA 4%.
Yes. So what I'm saying,
which I borrow money has gone to 35%. So now liquidity is so abundant.
Yeah.
Right? And see, one thing is there that India is ultimately a capital starved nation. We need foreign external money for investment. Right? And we need to raise the savings rate also. So see, all this money is not all that every project, it is a good project by good promoters. Every project is getting money. What is problem is not that, the problem is economy. And I feel personally that if demand comes, right, and we create ease of doing business and rule of law, the kind of money that will come into this country, I'm telling you, will surprise you. What is 500 billion? We'll have 1 trillion. In fact, they will become a chance to hold the value of the rupee. So what we have to do is create ease of doing business. See, because look at Apple. You forget, if we impose an import duty, right? And Apple is this third largest market in the world, right? They would actually like to manufacture where they sell, right? And government will realize that you cannot compete in manufacturing with other nations unless you change things on the ground today. One of the reasons why they want power reform is they have realized that because of cross subsidization, the price at which power is available to industry makes it uncompetitive. So, but see, this change cannot take place in a day. And see, for companies, liquidity depends on the superiority of the product. Before ITC dispatches the cigarettes, he puts the check in the bank. That is the superiority. What's the problem for ITC? So there, if there are good, and see, there is going to be complaint. You know, people were prior to GST, nobody was paying taxes on plastics in Gujarat. Now they have to pay tax. Some units closed down, so they are complaining now. I mean, I don't understand this logic here. That if you are not paying taxes, now you're required to pay taxes. The unit closes down. What's wrong? So the change that has to be, the change has been absorbed according to me. People forget that predictions were that that GDP will go up from 2 to 6% if GST is imposed, and we have imposed GST and succeeded in stabilizing it far faster than any country. In Malaysia, it took 5 to 7 years. So I don't see any reason why, I realized that in 2014 we had a false start, a false bullishness, which ended in 2018. It did not translate into earnings growth, right? And we had a bear market from 2018. But I think now things are set to.
So I think, Naveen, let's move to the investing part of it, where I think people are very eagerly waiting to hear your all the insights. And let me, for the viewers, just maybe even, I don't know whether Rakesh himself knows, that Buffett himself became dollar billionaire at the age of 56. Am I correct, Naveen?
Yes, exactly.
56. And as per our understanding, you became dollar billionaire at the age of 50.
Right.
So that itself is a huge compliment. And I mean, he has journeyed from $1 billion in 56 to now 75, 80, $100 billion in next 30, 35 years. And so, I mean, so far you have done very well. I mean, at your level. And so it's it is on the back of, see, there are very few guys, Rakesh, who have made money out of others' businesses. I mean, most of the multi-billionaire dollars or $250 billion, these global guys, they are out of their own business, the success in their own businesses. Not very few guys have been able to do it like Buffett. And here in India, you have done it, that you amassed billions out of the businesses of others in your portfolio. So, and it happens on the back of few multi-baggers in your portfolio over a period of time. Okay, so I mean, what are your thoughts? What it takes? I mean, from your multiple companies, many companies were 200, 300, 400 times. You are tired of even counting how many companies would have done 100 times or 200 times in your portfolio. Okay, so obviously you have some knack for picking multi-baggers in your portfolio. So can you help people? Or I mean, of course, people need a bit of luck, but I think luck is there with a lot of people. Everybody has the same amount of luck. It is the same market. So what is the difference? I mean, what it takes to pick up successful multi-baggers?
I think first it takes to think independently, right? Then stick to your opinion. Hold shares for long periods of time, right? Not do what is, it's very popular to do what's popular in stock markets, but I've learned it's not very profitable, right? And it requires guts, it requires more, it requires luck, it requires persistence, it requires an attitude of risk taking. I mean, even today in the market, I am buying the most battered stocks. The stocks with market share will close down, right? I am seeing what chance there is to close down, what is the downward risk, and what the possible upsides are. And I'm buying the most unpopular, the most battered stocks, right? So, and then who knows? I mean, I can give you an example of Escorts. I bought Escorts for a period of 3 years at an average price of about 100 rupees. Today it's about 1125 rupees in 5 years. Now, a lot of people wrote off the Escorts management. When I looked at Escorts, I was convinced that and when I saw the balance sheet, they would surely earn 12 to 15 rupees. They had really reject. So the price at which I was buying was, I mean, it was not going to go down below 100, 120, according to me, and it would go slowly to 150 to 100. And second thing is, so if my downside is protected, and when the management is going to change, and the company had a lot of the tractor business was a very profitable business, right? It is the highest margin in general in country, and it's not an easy market. It's a very well-known brand name. So I got a lot of escorts, and every person whom I said to buy escorts just turned his face away. And the more people turned their face away, the more I was convinced. So I examined that change. I realized that the downsides are very limited or nearly nil. The upsides can be very high, and I put my money. So I got a 10 bagger in 5 years. And I put substantial. I bought 12.5 million shares on a share which paid 1 lakh a day. That's how God has been kind. I mean, I think it's more to do with independent, frosty and gutsy nature, and then back my thoughts with conviction, and not feel bad if I underperform. Because other shares perform, then you feel left out. You have to have the courage of your conviction.
No, you are very right when you said. Even I remember in 2002-3 when you were buying tons and tons of Titan. Actually, for one or two very global institutions, we were selling, and probably you were buying. So that is the fundamental difference between your independent view and so-called popular market view, because things were not that great when you bought Titan, and that too.
ये जो शेयर बाजार है ना, समय आता है तो भगवान भी शेयर बेचते हैं और बिक जाते हैं ना, तो उसको हट जाना पड़ता है। शेयर जमीन में चले जाते हैं और जमीन से आते हैं। I have never seen in life. When I first bought Titan, someone told me, "Don't touch it." Morgan Stanley has to sell 85 lakh shares. I said, "There's more reason we can." Right? Because markets can absorb any amount of shares and can sell any amount. In my life, I've never seen a shareholders list before or after buying a share. अरे लड़की सुंदर है, शादी करने वाला.
How do you, Rakesh, how do you think in terms of how much to buy? Say आपके पास 100 crore है या 100 रुपया है. So do you buy as much as is offered to you, or is there something like a position sizing for you? In the sense कि भाई हम 10 टका खरीदेंगे, 15 टका of the wealth खरीदेंगे, इस type का कुछ ऐसा? Is there some discipline?
I do. First of all, I don't buy all quantity at one price. I buy over periods of time. I tell you a story of VIP. VIP price was 60 rupees. I thought it was very bullish. I bought VIP 12.5 lakh shares. I bought 12.5 lakh shares between 60 and 1 lakh. By giving an order, buy 25,000 shares a day regardless of price. And at an average price of 90 rupees, I could get 12.5 lakh shares. Right? Today, those shares have become 5 times in number. So effectively, I could buy at 18 rupees, 62.5 lakh. So I mean, there is no, you should see the size of the opportunity. Radhakrishnan ji ने यार ITC को 1,000 तुमने 200 में लिया कि 250 में दिया, याद रहता है क्या? So it will depend. I'm always leverage. I'm always short of capital, right? I know how I bought the Titan shares. I borrowed money and I bought. Right? So in my size changes every day.
I keep hearing from you that आपने बाजार के पैसे से शेयर खरीदा कभी, मतलब like you're leveraged and buy stocks. मतलब मैं तो कभी 100 रुपए में 101 रुपए का भी नहीं खरीदता हूँ. I'm very safe player. But आप you go beyond, and when your conviction is high. So what is your kind of a level of leverage you have done in the past? I mean, like, have you gone double the size of your net worth, and on the downside, have you been 40-50% cash also? So how you play with the cash or leverage?
I have never been 0.5% cash in my life. 1985 to today, I never had even 1 lakh rupees bank balance. Right?
You always pay interest.
Yeah, always pay interest. Leverage के बाद ऐसे रामदेव, see, my general leverage is 2-3% or 4% of my portfolio value. I have two leverage. One is trading, and one is against my portfolio value. One is futures, You know, I buy some short-term shares for
हाँ,
months. That is one leverage.
हाँ,
That leverage will never exceed 10% of my portfolio.
हम्म,
There I feel that 15 to 20% can be wiped out overnight. Suppose I have a trading portfolio of 100 rupees, I can always lose 20 to 25 rupees overnight.
हम्म,
So I can lose 2 to 2.5% of my portfolio value there
हम्म,
in trading. And general leverage is 2 to 3%, 4% of my portfolio value to buy investment. See, there are two kinds of leverage. I'm able to clarify. One is the leverage I do in trading.
So one is your trading leverage, which can
And
be
one is
about
investing
15% of your net worth.
It will be 10% of my net worth. Therefore, and the loss that I do in liquid shares. So loss can
Yeah.
be 25%. So I
Yeah.
can
So
lose 25% of my net worth.
yeah. So that's a trading
Trading.
leverage.
Investing
Second
I
is-
carry between 2 to 3% generally.
That's it.
Maximum 5%. But there have been times 2002 January to 2003 October I carried 40%. At the moment I'm carrying 10%. And if market goes in my favor, I will increase it.
But you never been below 100% in terms of
No,
investment.
never.
Never. Yeah.
Because we started with leverage in life. No? See how we started really taking delivery of shares. First we borrowed money. And then we used to make money in Vaida or in futures. With that money we used to take delivery of the shares. And
But
then the market is in our favor, we do a lot of leveraging. We leverage the portfolio. Then we leverage it. We do, you know, instead of 10%, there have been times we have created leverage of 40% of my portfolio in trading. And that happens when we become, you don't do it initially, then profit you increase it. So that's, I mean, leverage, नींद नहीं आती है leverage के बिना, and it is a very emotionless. If you go wrong, I remember in 2002 June, I sold 25% of my portfolio in 4 days. No emotions.
एक बार का मुझे ख्याल है in the ring in I think in 93 94 you used to come wearing ties and market was in very bearish phase and you guys were short if I'm and आपके गुरु और सब आपको बोलते थे भाई राकेश don't do it doesn't look good to the bulls.
I'll tell you one good story. When the market went down, the index went from 4,200 to 3,500. I still in the ring. So Mr. Mahiya, who was the chairman of BSE, called me and he fired me. I heard and I came back. Then 2,800 he called me. Then 2,600 he called me. Then 2,100 he called me. So I told him, Mahiya sir, आप इतना गुस्सा होते हैं. आप मेरी बात मानते तो आप कितने प्रॉफिट बनाते थे? I said, you keep calling me and firing me from every 300 points. If you had followed me, it would have been so profitable for you.
But राकेश उस समय भी घर में शेयर तो रहा होगा ना जब शॉर्ट थे
शेयर रहा.
हाँ
क्या समझता है वो जो पैसा कमाया शेयर बेच के उसका शेयर ही लिया है. Ultimately everything, maybe first time I bought a house was in 2005.
2005
I bought a house. I lived in the same house until 2008. First time I spent money in anything big way out of equity was 2004 when my daughter was born. I take some jewelry in 2005 when I bought a house. नहीं तो जो शेयर बाजार में आता था शेयर बाजार में वापस लगा जाता था.
ये जो आपका स्प्लिट पर्सनालिटी है ऑफ द ट्रेडर एंड डीप लॉन्ग टर्म इन्वेस्टर एक तो एकदम शॉर्ट एज पॉसिबल वेयर यू कैन गो शॉर्ट आल्सो एंड ये बहुत लोगों को बहुत मजा आता है देखने में दे वांट टू मेक मनी बोथ हैंड रोज रोज पैसा छापने का एंड लॉन्ग टर्म में पैसा कमाने का ये आपको मतलब व्हाट वुड बी योर एडवाइस टू द इन्वेस्टर हाउ इजी इट इज टू यू नो काइंड ऑफ इम्बाइब दिस
My advice to anybody is not to trade. ट्रेडिंग में 10 लाख ट्रेड करते हैं तो 9,90,900 लूज मनी. I don't think out of traders more than 100 out of 10 lakhs make money. Right? और वो बोलेंगे कि आपने तो सत्य में पैसा कमाया है हमको मना करते थे. मैं बोला पापा दारू पीते थे हमको मना करते थे. Investing I think is something people should do and It's something. But see, Ramdev, there are many attitudes there. You know, मैंने बहुत स्टोरी आई थिंक कि हम तो जेफरीज में बैठे थे, लोग आते थे ये वो, मैं बोला भी चुप बैठो, अभी बाजार से आया, आराम करने दो। फिर कोई सुंदर महिला आती थी, पूछती थी भाई क्या शेयर ले, तो उसको बताना ही पड़ता था। तो बोलती थी क्या क्या रिटर्न आएगा, मैं बोला 3 साल में डबल हो जाएगा, बस बोलती थी। बोला हियर इज द एड्रेस ऑफ द attitude in investing has to be that, see, in debt you can get 5-6%. In investing you can get 15%, you're a king.
King.
By expert, you need expert help. You need solid knowledge and solid research like Motilal. So, I think we have to take professional help and have a reasonable attitude.
एक मतलब I know RKD and we all very so fond of him. So you keep saying that I mean he's your biggest guru, and we have seen from Bikaner days, you know, when you were excited about learning speculation, you know, Imad, that Munna Sali and all. So what I'm saying is, what are the 2-3 things you have learned? Because he's a very wise man. So I'm sure you must have learned a lot of things from him, but 2-3 things which come to top of your mind to the benefit of the
Look at
learning from RKD.
Ramdev, I'm telling you, he has such a large portfolio, right? But he has no research analyst. He has no research analyst.
Yes.
Result में लगता है कभी time मिलता है तो देख लेते हैं कभी, right? So I have a broad attitude, be bullish on India, right? और तो सीखो, बोले शेयर बाजार में कोई चीज बढ़ गई है इसको बेच दो, और कोई घट गई इसलिए ले लो, कभी जिंदगी में करना मत। सुबह सुबह शेयर बाजार आते हो, so see, there are so many things I learned from him. See, these are things like I tell you, markets, cooking, and also sex. They can't be taught; they have to be learned. So you know, you have to learn it by doing. He has a unique system of trading, where he marks. He used to mark the trade to a higher price. समझो मैंने टिस्को टाटा से 100 में लिया और 107 रुपए की क्लियरिंग आ गई, तो 7 रुपए का नफा मेरे घर में आ गया. So my new cost is 107 and my stop loss now is from 107. Then his sheer humility, human quality. You know, his idea कि राकेश कोई भी लड़का होता है, कोई धंधा चालू करता है, तेरे घर पे आया, तेरे ऑफिस में आया है, उसको हमेशा पैसे दे देगा, उसको हमेशा बोला मुझे चाहिए नहीं, वो ऑफिस लाके देगा तेरे. Encourage the young, you know, encourage the entrepreneur. Then the sheer humility, the wisdom, the charitable, he does so much of charity, he always advocates, right? Always pay your taxes. उसने बोला गड़बड़ नहीं करने का कुछ, right? So there are so many innumerable things. And see, Ramdev, I was talking about my birthday, remembering the days we spent from 1987 to 1994. जो रिंग के दिन थे ना, जब रिंग आके हमारा रिंग ले गया. Then we turned into a postal relationship, family relationship. I mean, I have no words to express or repay what he has said.
Naveen?
There is a very famous quote that selling is the dark continent of investing. Basically, there are hundreds of books on how to buy, what to buy, value, growth, all sorts of strategies, right? Quality investing. I mean, you can get 10,000 books on buying, but if you were to make a list of books on selling, I think you'll struggle to find a dozen books, right? Maybe between me and Ramdev, we struggle to reach a count of 5, you know, three. Yeah. So this is really the dark continent of investing. I mean, we've talked a lot about your multi-baggers and, you know, luck, you know, how do you go about it, position sizing. But what about selling? I mean, I'm not talking about your trading selling. I'm talking about investing. And where did you make those mistakes in selling? What were your learnings in selling? I mean, what do you advise as far as your learning from selling?
See, my experience of selling has been quite. I didn't sell Lupin at 2000. It came down to 6. Apart from that, I sell the shares if I need to reduce leverage, right? Or if there is a better alternative, right? But first time in my life now, अब 60 साल का हो गया हूँ, सोचता हूँ 65-66 में थोड़ा थोड़ा पैसा बच्चों के नाम पे, कुछ ब्याज ब्याज में, कुछ गोल्ड वोल्ड में लगा दूं लैंड में. Otherwise, I don't, मेरे नाम पे नहीं. Otherwise, I sell only if I need leverage, or I think if prices are incredibly sustainable. But one thing is you must learn. I used to say privately. See, in 2001, Infosys was overpriced fundamentally from a share of 3,500. But he judged that the momentum is such that the price will go up. He did not sell up to 10,000. When the price went to 10,000, it came to 9,000, and then it went to 9,600, and then it broke down 9,000. That is the time. So if you do fundamental analysis and 2 plus 2 is equal to 4, it's down 3,500. So he knew beyond 5,000 that this is right. But let us complete that. So one lesson of selling is just because it's overvalued, don't sell. Stocks can go and keep getting overvalued. Right? Also, I've learned that time when companies, nothing is linear in life. So if the business model is still alive, and don't turn your trading failures into investments, and don't sell your investment to have short-term gain. अभी बोलेंगे टाइटन तो 1300 हो गया है, अभी प्राइस हो गया है, अभी भाव 1100 होएगा, बेच दो, मैं 1100 में वापस ले लूंगा. वो 1300 को 1400 और तो गया शेयर. Right? So we should sell when you think a better opportunity is there. तुम लोग को leverage लेते नहीं हो. Or do you feel that the business model of the company does not justify the valuation at all?